our names are Abraham and Uddin, and we're actually from Fergus, Ontario. It's just about an hour and a bit north of here. And our story started off in 2007. Is that correct? Yes, I'm really bad with years. Anyway, my wife went for a regular ultrasound follow-up because she felt that she was a little bit smaller than she was with our first child. And they rushed her to McMaster. They found out that she had what's called the legiohydramnios, which is absolutely no amniotic fluid left. And everybody had pretty much said the odds of my son surviving were almost zero. And so we actually decided that we were going to spend one more night in Fergus because we didn't know, based on what they told us, we didn't think he was going to make it, and we knew that there was going to be a lot of tough times ahead of us, so we spent one more night with our daughter, who was 2 at the time. And then the next morning we came into McMaster and the life-changing event began. So our son was born, and we actually, they tried to have him delivered naturally, and my wife started experiencing some severe distress, and so did he. And they did an emergency C-section. They got him out, and because of the lack of amniotic fluid, he was very dry in appearance, and his hands and his feet were very contorted, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. Like, they didn't know if anything was wrong with him at all. And turns out that after 3 surgeries later, he made it, and we're very thankful for that. And one of our biggest experiences in regards to our strength came from this house.
A social worker came up to us and said, there's a place that you can stay called the Ronald McDonald House. And we had heard of it before, but never knew what it was about. So I was still in the hospital when he came here for the first night. I got a good night's sleep.
But I remember walking in, and there was a family that was sitting at the kitchen there, and they were just eating, and they were talking, and they kind of looked at me, and I was just kind of taken aback by the whole thing, and then I think it was Elise that ended up taking me for a little bit of a quick tour, and all I cared about was just putting my head in a pillow, and I literally fell asleep that night. So it wasn't until the days progressed that I really realized the impact of what this house was having on me, because I was able to fight for my son. It gave me strength. I knew I had a place that I can actually go to and not have to worry about dying of carbon monoxide poisoning because I was sleeping in the parking lot.
There was lots of times I remember just putting away dishes and someone just coming up to you and talking to you about their story, and then you tell your story, and then you just you become friends. Actually, there's still one lady that we talk to, and there's people that we still kind of keep in contact from here. So, but it was nice to have someone else going through something similar, right? You didn't feel as alone, because at first we thought we were the only ones that were going through something so serious.
And it wasn't even the time that we were in the house that gave us the moment. It was the times that we were standing outside, and you would have another family standing outside, and be it whatever everybody was doing, they just still had a moment to just open up, and it didn't matter who you were, where you were from, what you were going through. It almost seemed like there was always another family that was going through something worse, and they were here, and they were sharing their story, and you were trying to say encouraging words to pick them up, and they were trying to say encouraging words to pick us up, and it was just kind of like we all of a sudden emerged as a Ronald McDonald House family, right? So that's what helped us bring our spirits up anyway.
Well, we were here for Thanksgiving, and it was our first Thanksgiving away from home, and it was hard on us because we hadn't seen our daughter very much either, and we've never really been away from her. And they had a little sign saying that you here in the house that if you have family, you can invite them down for Thanksgiving dinner. And we thought that was, wow, that was wonderful because, you know, you can bring your family here, they can be with you, we can still be close to the hospital and, you know, be with our son. And so anyways, my daughter actually did come down and she stayed with us. My parents drove her down, so it was really nice. We had Thanksgiving dinner together, and the nicest feeling was walking downstairs and seeing all these volunteers making dinner for everybody. And you know, we were thinking, don't they have somewhere to be on Thanksgiving too? You know, like, don't they have families? But they were here for us and making dinner for us. And I remember the meal was just amazing. There was the whole kitchen was full of food. I think I had 3 or 4 platefuls.
So we hadn't eaten anything with everything that was going on, and then they had this 10-course Thanksgiving
Yeah,
dinner.
it was amazing, and we were very thankful to.
Thanksgiving has always been a holiday that we celebrated together. It didn't have meaning until we had it here, because that's where we had the ability to be thankful for shelter, for food, for friends, for family, for our children, you know, for the hospital, for what we have. When you're always hearing about the Ronald McDonald House and, you know, the wonders that it does, just by those 30-second commercials that are on TV, you don't really realize what happens until it involves your family. So whether it's buying a Happy Meal and having 10 cents donated, or coming down with a check, or throwing events, you know, private birthday parties that, like, much like we did, you know, do anything you can, you know, because you don't know if it's going to be your family or your friends that are going to be going through, you know, something very trying. You need to have the support.
I never really knew what this home was, and then until we stayed here, I'm definitely thankful that it was here, because I don't know what I would have done commuting back and forth, having a child, another child with me, and anything to keep this house going and giving more people, you know, a bed to sleep in, not in a parking lot, or, you know, or wherever, like traveling back and forth. Anything you can do to help would be wonderful. And there's many families that can't get in, you know, and it's sad that there isn't enough room, and it's so great now that there is something, you know, there is going to be more
That's
rooms.
coming.
Yeah, and it's going to help people, and you guys are helping us, and we need to all help back.